I've not really seen anyone else touch on how well Softube Console 1 works with Cakewalk, but for me it is by far the best controller I've ever used. I've had plenty of different ones before, but I've either sent them back, sold them, or just left them lying somewhere. Cakewalk has enhanced integration with the system, so it just makes it really fun to mix with. What I'm going to do here is, I'm just going to give myself 10 minutes to try and get a decent sound going in this drum kit, and I'm only going to use Console 1 plugins. The only other plugins that will be running are a few reverb sends that are set up with Izotope Neoverb. And at the end I'll just talk about briefly the other pros of the Console 1 system. So yeah, that's it. Things are maybe sounding a little bit bright and reverberant at the moment, and I've definitely been too heavy-handed with the gain staging, but for 10 minutes knocking away at a drum kit trying to get a half decent sound out of it, I think it's cool. For me, the best thing about this controller is it's stopped me thinking about other plugins. I open up a mix, slap the British Class A across all the tracks, the Chandler on some buses, and occasionally the Summit Audio, and I can just start mixing. I know how the plugins sound and I know how they feel. Don't have to worry about going through a wild amount of EQs, compressors, gates, transient designers, distortions, whatever. It's all inside the channel strip and it's all at my fingertips. Over time, you find your favourite channel strips in Console 1. For me, it's probably the Neve and the Chandler. They're the ones I default to a lot, and you can really learn them when you just stick to using them all the time. Your mixes get much better because you can just learn how to make these plugins sound good. I know some people are sceptical about paying the 300-400 quid for what's essentially a software controller, and they want it to control other plugins or control MIDI signals, or it may be able to do that. I've got no idea, but I don't really care if I'm being honest. I personally hate mapping. I hate looking up scripts, installing scripts, updates happening in the script not working anymore, looking at a fader bank or a rotary bank and not knowing what plugin it's controlling. I end up controlling the wrong plugin. I end up getting out electrical tape and labeling all these dials, and to be honest, I just find it a fucking nightmare. I just go back to using a mouse and keyboard. I think the self-containment of the Console 1 is what makes it so good. All you need to do is put the plugin on every track, and that might not sound great, but you get used to it and they are CPU efficient. The only one that's high in CPU is the Gambit strip. If you're going to try the Console 1, the one bit of advice I would give you is to just try and commit to it. Just open up a mix, pick a channel strip and put it on every track and start mixing. I nearly sold mines at first because I didn't do that. I defaulted back to other plugins and I had Console 1 on some tracks and other plugins on other tracks. And I thought, here we go again, another controller that just slows everything down. And I nearly papped it on eBay and tried to get rid of it. But I gave it another chance and I'm happy I did, and I've been using it for the last 3-4 years.